Hi, this is Cheryl Gallant, your Conservative Member of Parliament for the romantic riding of Renfrew-Nipissing-Pembroke. Happy Valentine's Day. While Justin Trudeau's climate clerics are busy crowning Mark Carney as Canada's first never-elected Prime Minister, the Liberals' paid-off media allies cover up his signature policy. Carney's only policy so far is to keep all of Trudeau's costly climate policies with one exception. Carney is proposing to swap out the massive consumer carbon tax for a massive carbon tariff. Just like Justin, Mark Carney will continue using the fear of global warming to keep wringing more money out of Canadians so his billionaire clique can continue building their wealth. Tariff is just another word for tax. All he's doing is replacing the Trudeau carbon tax with a Carney carbon tariff. Carney will negotiate to increase tariffs that Canadians pay. Mark Carney thinks carbon tariffs will make the Liberal Party great again. And the only thing standing in his way is the Canada-US-Mexico Free Trade Agreement. That's because imposing massive tariffs on our trading partners would violate the agreement. The US president has been clear. He wants to take Canada's car industry. Mark Carney will happily give it to him, then claim he saved the climate by reducing emissions. This same approach was the one Dalton McGuinty took. McGuinty, along with his senior advisors, Gerald Butts and Katie Telford, pushed up the price of electricity. That drove away 60,000 manufacturing jobs from Ontario. When you have 60,000 fewer people driving to work, you reduce a lot of emissions. Now, if Carney can kill the auto industry, it would greatly reduce the carbon emissions. Carbon tariff Carney won't negotiate lower tariffs with the United States. He will push for more tariffs, higher tariffs. At a time when every Canadian has been given a crash course on American tariffs, it's shocking how many Canadian media have not pounced on carbon tariff Carney. This week, Carney told a room full of liberals, he planned to use the federal government's emergency powers to force through his economic agenda. He's just like Justin.
And something that my government is going to do is to use all of the powers of the federal government, including the emergency powers of the federal government, to accelerate the major projects that we need in order to build this economy and take on the Americans.
Chrystia Freeland loves to talk about how her family escaped the Soviet Union. She must have forgotten yesterday when she announced that if she becomes Prime Minister, she will bring in Soviet-style price controls on essential groceries. This has been tried before. They tried it in ancient Rome. It failed. They tried it in the Middle Ages in places from India to Spain. It failed and failed again. They even tried it during the French Revolution. It failed faster than the blade falling on a guillotine. When the Soviets put price controls on food, 20 million people died. Price controls on food always fail, yet people like Freeland keep trying, because this is not about feeding people. It is always about controlling people. Control the food, control the people. Only Conservatives will axe the tax, making food more affordable. On Tuesday, Pierre announced our Conservative plan to ensure the people committing mass murders will have sentences that reflect the grave nature of their crimes. Those dealing deadly fentanyl will receive life sentences. The drug addicts need treatment. Drug dealers need jail. That's just common sense. Naturally, the Liberal Party opposes it, and that should not surprise you. What is surprising is the wacko reason Liberals are now using to oppose a policy most Canadians support. Trudeau's handpicked far-left Senator Kim Pate wrote in the Globe and Mail that Canada's justice system is so broken that we shouldn't even bother trying to arrest drug dealers. Quote, in the unlikely event dealers are caught, they typically can hire teams of lawyers to help them avoid accountability. End wacko quote. What a sad, cynical thing to write. She watches too much American television. Canada's RCMP have been busting up super labs left, right, and center. Our Crown prosecutors are bringing solid cases and getting convictions. The problem is our judges' hands are tied by the changes the NDP Liberals made to sentencing. Only Conservatives will put death dealers in jail and keep them there. Once upon a time, Canada had a Prime Minister who cared about national security and protecting Canada's sovereignty. Every year that Stephen Harper was Prime Minister, he trekked to the Arctic to reinforce the simple fact that Canada is and always will be the true North, strong and free. Since Trudeau took power, protecting Canada's North has been an afterthought. Trudeau has taken more trips to the Caribbean than he has taken to the Arctic. He prefers to lounge around on some billionaire's island rather than defend our country. Now China and Russia are pressing their Arctic claims. That's why on Monday, our Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre revealed Part 1 of our Canada First plan to take back control of Canada's North and counter the growing threats to Canadian sovereignty and security from adversaries like China and Russia. We will double the size of the 1st Patrol Group of the Canadian Rangers from 2,000 to 4,000 Rangers, acquire 2 additional polar icebreakers for the Royal Canadian Navy, and will build at least 1 permanent Arctic military base within 2 years. CFB Iqaluit, Canada's first permanent Arctic military base since the Cold War. The Canadian Arctic is under threat. After 9 years, the NDP Liberals have weakened our military and lost the respect of our allies. Our safety, territory, and trade with the U.S. requires that we take back control of Canada's North. Our Canada First plan will protect Canadians and give the brave women and men in the Canadian Armed Forces, especially the mighty Rangers, the resources they need to defend our North so we can secure our skies, sea, and soil. Live from Ottawa, this is Cheryl Gallant.